Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Rabble Dambler. Let's try that again. Take two. Howdy, folks, and welcome to the Ramblin' Dabbler, episode 5. For those of you who saw my social media post last night and I said this was going to be a new variation, I decided against that. I have, playing around, figuring out what works here. And after taking a lot of notes on what today's episode was going to be, I decided this is better as a 30-minute episode, possibly even only 10, 15-minute episode. So today we are going to someone that I have been having a lot of fun trolling on TikTok. I'm not trying to be a troll, but he is absolutely asking for it. We have the wrestler Ryback, who's selling supplements, and every episode I've watched, he has been avoiding wrestling talk, and that's exactly what the chat is attempting to talk with him about. So I find that funny, and he does not like the word tushy. He went on a big long rant about tushy, and of course that just feeds the troll tushy medicine to talk about tushies all the time, asking who's got the best tushy, so on and so forth. Yes, Comrade Cheadle, he still wants to be fed more supplements. He wants you to eat his supplements because he is selling them. He's got a bunch for sale. And programming notes. Thank you, StreamYard, for the opening theme. I do believe I'm going to get some local musicians. I've thought of a couple of themes that I would like for the show that aren't the opening theme. So there's at least three original tracks I would like to record with a local saxophonist, violinist. You could replace the saxophone with an oboe, but I'm a fan of the violin in the mix. So in the 3-piece, 4-piece band, I would like those. Before we get to the main part of the show, it is time for me to ask for you to like, subscribe, comment, share. Be like Comrade Cheadle and Josh and talk in the live chat. That gets the algorithm to like me, and maybe I won't have to get a job at the end of the summer of George. Maybe it can be the fall of George as well. Let's say the autumn of George. The fall of George sounds like a downfall. So yeah, I'll be getting some sort of job. And if you would like me, like the whole concept of this co-host audition is because I believe I am a better second mic than a first mic. I can really get in the weeds and go down the rabbit hole, and I need someone to help reel me back in. And Bill McKenna is out of the business. He's out of the game. He can't do it. He's fantastic straight man, but will not be able to fill in the straight man position because I'm your non-straight man, fellas. Woo! Yes, I am the wacky most host. I am the second mic regularly. Was there other show notes? Oh yeah, Saturday's episode. I should have chopped that up into 2 parts. I pivoted late on Friday on what I was going to do, and I should have gone ahead and just made that a Dabbleverse episode before I started eviscerating the Shuli network. Because once I got to eviscerating them, I was like, this is going long. I can't get to all the things that I want to do. Thank you, Jacob. We've got Jacob commenting as well. One thing that I will probably, as I was saying, I've heard Steel Toe say this as well. He's had a radio show for a while. He's gone to streaming. Reading the comments and keeping your train of thought is really difficult to do. That's why you see me wanting to come over when I see a notification and communicate with my early fans, my organic fans, my fans that I badgered into watching this. Thank you all for coming. See, Darkside Phil, I turned away from the mic. They still heard me, and I could have been a gentleman but I was too silly to mute it. There is a cough mute button there that I can hit when I have those mouth noises that Darkside Phil will just let go. And that's definitely being clipped, that mouth noise he made that made me say, what the fuck, and rewind. I'd never thought I would rewind on a Darkside Phil video. I believe that's all the show notes I have. There will be hiccups. There will be, what's the other word? Speed bumps, so on, so forth. You get the point as I figure out what I'm doing. I am joining this episode 25 5 minutes in, it looks like. Ryback just took a phone call. He was getting to a bunch of plugs up front. And I picked a random spot. He was in the middle of a phone call, and I just decided to go from there. So what's happening, big guy?
All right, Saki in the house.
You
never know what we're going to get here on the Ryback show.
He sounds louder than Phil.
I think this is, somebody's commenting. They go,
I think that might be more appropriate
thing ever. I'm going to ask my guests what they think of puppets. Yeah, I honestly, I wasn't expecting
Mr. Winston, he's got a show coming up, Ryback. You'll like
live
it.
Show.
Unless you like Lost. In that case, come on the show. I want people to argue with the puppet.
He had pointed out to do the show was going to be live. My one demand was that I reiterated that I wanted the show live, so it wasn't recorded or edited in any way, and we could have a simple conversation. And then he got a phone call.
Are his ears here?
And that got put on the kibosh pretty quickly.
Does he have a weird shaped head? What is up with those headphones? Are those from Five Below?
90-minute conversation.
You can get nice, cool colors from Five Below. Just going from day one. Straight black.
Me and Booker always.
If you're going to get the Five Below,
Booker kind of took a different turn on things, and I talked about it on the earlier Twitter Spaces with all of that. And if anyone has questions on it, I'm more than happy to answer. Yeah, I think it's an unfortunate thing.
Harlem Heat from Houston.
The pro wrestling industry. I'm for the betterment of the pro wrestling industry and pro wrestling.
Even when they revealed they were Houston, we're Harlem Heat now. We're still Harlem Heat.
I'm more than capable of having a conversation and not cutting him off or yelling at him or screaming at him. And I just think
Stevie Ray is the Marty Jannetty, obviously.
And as you see the tweet that
he put out, a match that he really got gassed?
900,000 impressions.
I'm trying to remember. I feel like there was a match where he came back after Stevie Ray took time off, and he was just. It was the classic one is Al Snow in TNA. Who was it? It was the Dick guy. Joey Ryan was having a program with Al Snow, and Al Snow was. Everyone says he's an excellent trainer, but he was not. It takes a hell of a lot of cardio to be a wrestler, and Al Snow hadn't been keeping it up, and he is just dead in the corner in the tag match, catching his breath. Another great example is Lawrence Taylor versus Bam Bam Bigelow, an incredible athlete at the top of his game, as Lawrence Taylor was. He needed everyone to pick him up on his shoulders like he was king, but he's slumped the fuck over. Like he can't walk. And then you've got big fat Bam Bam in the back, just walking around like nothing. Man, that was great. You did fantastic out there, man.
I did nothing. I've not said anything to Booker. Outside of, we talked about previously, Booker first became vocal on me, and he talks about a lot of things on his shows.
Yeah, you got a lot of time to kill
with Vince's mom, and I told you
that's why I'd like to be a co-host instead of solo.
And
well, there's a lot of reasons why I'd like to be co-host. I'll be the host too.
The reasoning behind that, and I later apologized.
If you have a show, especially if it's monetized, and hit me up.
Having a mother,
I will come babble anywhere.
And passing away, and as we get older, and I understand why that hit a chord with a lot of people. But I simply can only tell you what I'm experiencing, and with the suppression of the social media legally and them latching on and all the things that we talked about earlier.
Social media, you are asking social media to fuck with you. I wasn't trying to fuck with you when I was in your live chat, but you just had to go off. What the fuck is with you and Tushy? So if you ever see Ryback's live feed, he will be annoyed by anything Tushy you work in there.
That had to do with my malpractice suit against the doctor that botched my ankle surgery,
and it took them.
They forced me to drop.
A lot of these shows are titled when they put me in with wrestling type titles, talking about AEW, talking about his return, talking about WWE. But every time I watched him on the live, he refused to talk about WWE, and maybe he just wasn't looking at the TikTok chat. Like in StreamYard, I think all the chats come through. I've noticed streaming to both Twitch and YouTube that I get both those chats. I would think that the TikTok live chats would come through, but maybe you didn't.
That this is what they have tried to suppress and for people to listen to. That they are really on the line for a lot here with this. They don't want to have a conversation about this, and this has been my argument with them from day one. They told me, I was told from all the higher ups, and Vince was never to know about this or to talk about this with Vince, and they were going to make my life hell. And they would have got me.
He's got it on the right side. According to Carl from Who Are These Podcasts, the cord is supposed to be on the left side. Well, I guess there is a left and a right channel, so I'll take his word for it. He's been podcasting as a hobby for a long time and professionally for a few years now.
Imagine the stuff that they would have tried to put out had I taken that route with it. But again, with that, they reached out for that. I go, yeah, let's have this conversation with this. This has to be made right if you want to move
Ryback
forward.
actually
They agreed
frightened
on
my
everything else
nephew.
but that. So that told
I think
me,
he was like
look,
4 or
you guys are
5.
capable
The
of
first
this. And,
wrestling
they
match
cost me
that my
hundreds of
brother
thousands
took
of
him
dollars
to,
get my name that I
and
created,
he was
talked
afraid that
about all
Ryback
in
was going
detail
to eat him
with all of that. And
because he
Vince,
wanted to be
they're
fed
trying to
more.
hurt me
He always
financially, and
wanted
that's
to
what
be
they're
fed
doing,
more.
suppressing on my social media. It's a big game to them.
Especially
My life. I got
roids.
my parents, I got
Feed
to
my
take care of.
ass.
I got a lot
That's where
on
you
the
take the
line.
injection.
A lot.
That actually
And I've
wasn't a
had to
gay
be-
joke
I've
this
been
time.
forced to put my back against the wall and to desperately try to get my health back to fight all of this while all this is going on with everything. And so
Oh, that was a nose noise.
in a rage,
Sorry,
I go, well,
audience.
I'm going to hurt you emotionally because they have reached out multiple times through their attorney and they had asked for me to stop talking about Vince. So I know that I was pushing buttons with that. I'll go, great. You want to hurt me financially? I'm going to hurt you emotionally.
I'm
And
going
I've
to push
explained
buttons too. Look at
that,
me
and
pushing
unless
buttons.
you're in my shoes and dealing with, they are preventing me from making what I should be making and doing what I should be doing. I go, fine. I can't hurt you on that end, but I can hurt you emotionally. And unfortunately, I understand the chord that it struck with a lot of people. But Booker, and unfortunately,
oh, he's still talking about Booker. I thought he was talking about Vince there.
To get personally involved, and then he didn't have to. He
yeah, they've got a nice team of lawyers. I wouldn't fuck with Jerry McDivitt.
And said, look, I don't agree with
Jerry
talking
McDivitt
about
beat the
somebody's money
government,
no matter
but the
what is
government had a
going on.
shitty case.
But you know what? I also
when you
don't
look
know
at that
the whole
steroid
story.
case against Vince
Whatever's going on
McMahon, it was
between Ryback
wildly
and WWE
flimsy.
and Vince McMahon, it's none of my business. I just personally don't agree. I don't think you should ever cross that line. He very easily could have expressed that without saying, I don't respect Ryback. I'm never going to shake his hand if I see him again. And then now, randomly, that I won my trademark and I'm coming back and have no issues, nothing going on.
CM Punk famously said that Ryback is dangerous and unsafe. But meanwhile, Booker T also, he's the one that ended the career of Rick Martel with a whatever move it was. And Rick Martel does blame Booker T to this day for being sloppy in the ring. But that's the only instance I know of Booker T hurting someone. Oh, actually, Stone Cold on his first night into WWE. So, yeah, sometimes I guess Booker T did have some whoopsies every now and then. He was no Bret Hart. I think Jericho has a good record too, especially now that he's slowing down. Jericho doesn't have as good of a record with hotel staff as he does wrestlers, but that's another story. There's supposedly some Irish police body cam footage of Chris Jericho being a drunken mess. I hope that comes out. I'm not sure whether that's public record or not, especially since it's international. I don't know Irish law, even less than my own law. Because I
going on,
better
he just
call
randomly
Saul.
starts putting me on blast with the thinks he's been in the business 100
It's
years.
only coming through my left channel.
One, nobody's been in the business 100 years.
That's right.
2, I've been in the business.
I know it's why
years.
it's only coming
I've been
through
in all the developmental
organizations,
and I'm
a
entitled to my
technical,
opinion. If he has any points that he would like to
dummery
discuss,
on my part.
I'm more than open to
a technical
discussing
thing
them.
on
There's
my
people
part
that work in the wrestling business that have never had any success
probably
in the wrestling
something
business.
simple that I haven't quite figured out yet.
Getting over on TV, and I think I've had a solid career that got cut short, but I'm more than
Am I
entitled
coming through
to
both
speak
channels?
just as he does with it. But 19 years in the business, I'm not as old as him. I don't know how many years total he has, but I'm not some Joe Blow. I also don't see him putting.
Are you Joe the plumber?
And all the other people, and maybe he
that pays well too. You can go back to that if no one will hire you because CM Punk eviscerated you.
About this, they're trying to discredit me. I could talk all day long.
I bet Ryback could get a good payday on Goldberg's retirement tour.
My demand was I wanted to talk live, which he already had said.
Yeah, me too.
I didn't
Both
ask
of us.
for green M&Ms.
Here we are talking live together.
To be put on a pedestal. I didn't say that I was going to yell at him. I didn't say that I was going to cuss at him, but the story was going to be told.
And then, damn it. I still didn't get that picture from Wayne's World. I was making some other Photoshops last night and didn't include that one.
And they don't.
I don't even need to Photoshop it. I just need the still frame.
Everything I'm talking to you guys about is going to get heard on even the bigger.
I haven't worked on the audio clips yet. I do have a list of audio clips I would like to include.
And they're scrapping.
I haven't gotten to them yet.
That's what it is. And you don't have to agree or whatever, but that's what's going on.
Goldberg probably will get a lot of fucking money for this retirement tour he's talking about. WWE definitely want him to have his last match there, but Tony Khan be Tony Khanin and has all his daddy's money to do whatever the fuck he wants because he's not doing what will bring in a bigger audience. He's doing what he wants. And then just independently, Goldberg's looking at doing his retirement tour, promoting it himself. And, all the more money for him as long as the promotion is done well and he hires the right people, unlike Shuley.
But I've never, and I've never shied away. And I've talked to you guys all the time. What other wrestlers talk to you guys at the amount I do?
I don't know. I haven't really looked into this.
Comments on YouTube. I like
maybe it's a lot. Maybe it's a little. I'm not sure.
Interact with you guys. I talk with you. I'm not afraid to talk to anybody with it.
Talk with me.
Booker comes out and he makes a blanket statement like that. Well, what's your issue?
A blanket
like I've been in the business.
Was it a cooling blanket? Have you seen those? I haven't seen those before this year.
I've talked about.
Let's talk about blankets.
Let's get views. You want to get some views? I've got you your most popular tweet. Let's have a conversation. What are you scared of? I don't think Booker's
he's scared of getting injured.
Told, back off. We don't want this being talked about, and that's that.
Booker would like to make money with you. He's aware that there's some money in it, but he doesn't want to get hurt.
On the Ryback show, we got a nice amount of people in here. I appreciate you guys. Earlier, the Twitter space.
Stupid or careless.
Megan,
what is it?
Megan, you want to come on for a brief minute? Megan, if I send you an invite, just accept it, Megan, and ask me one question. Megan is a regular.
Just like Tradio, you can give us 3 items.
Ryback show, Megan,
please only call once. You can call twice if you forget an item. Oh, he takes callers. Can we get Rusty into Ryback's room? Just do the exact same bit that he did, listing off wrestler names.
KG for people. Everyone go follow KG. She's a sweetheart. Hello. Do we have Megan? No.
Hello. He did the Gary Delabate. I do that on purpose whenever I hello.
Instagram. Oh, we got a wrestling historian. Let's get a wrestling historian.
Life is
very familiar with a wrestling historian.
My professional life is annoying.
Hello, wrestling historian. Are you there?
Is that me?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Welcome to the Ryback show. Good to hear from you again.
I know it's been a while, right?
Time flies by.
So
last time I saw you was in Wisconsin. Wasn't that the last time? The match I did.
Something like that. I know it was one of your.
You did. I think you came to the appearance in Vegas. I have a pretty good memory. Some people like to say I have CTE, even though I've had no concussions. Last time I saw you, it was the time before the signing I did at El Pollo Loco in Vegas. Was that correct?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
And then you came to the show in Oshkosh or wherever with Hornswoggle,
Pollo
Wisconsin.
Loco beats the shit out of Del Taco. I know some people disagree with me. I did not like Del Taco. El Pollo Loco is where it's at. Los Pollos Hermanos. Too bad that Madrigal shut them down. That was a nice joint.
I believe you were there. That's the last time I remember actually seeing you.
Yep. I know it's I hope you do more convention appearances. We gotta catch up sometime.
Absolutely. I have a feeling that that's going to be the case at some point in time. What's going on?
I'm wearing my headphones as properly as Ryback is.
Is there an update on your second book?
Yeah, it's off his ears.
The autobiography.
What are you doing? Why do you even have headphones?
I've waited. I told you I wrote a good portion of that years ago. I actually stopped writing because I realized
who don't know where how to wear
and
headphones.
I wanted to wait and kind of
We're
have
a pair, Ryback.
Go back, and I probably want to go back and rewrite a portion of the beginning, because I think sometimes
we're two guys who don't know how to wear headphones.
I wasn't ready to write the
John
whole
and
book
John
with everything that had gone on because I was
the Opie and Anthony Jocktobering of John and John. They discovered that one of the Johns goes to Thailand alone a lot. And there's only one thing that singular men are doing in Thailand alone again and again and again.
Everything was going on with all of this and my injuries and not knowing if I was ever going to wrestle again. So I go, you know what? Let's back off on this. And I want to get everything that way. I could write this book with a little clearer head and maybe not with
the book is a secret, Ryback.
I don't want to say hateful.
You did a promo about it.
Making me angry having to remember certain things.
You did a promo about the secret. That's so funny.
But that is on the agenda. And Broken Bones.
I have such memories of that one Raw because it was one of the few times Vince was like, you can do something in your own words, and then he actually the secret promo actually wasn't bad. But Cesaro, English being his third or fourth language, he had a harder time with his promo because he's fantastic in the ring. He needs a Bobby Heenan and not to be the third man in a group. Wow, what a bungle bungle. How did Tony Khan? Every single person that comes into AEW is less over within 3 months than when they first came, no matter what. It's except for Punk. Punk says, "Let me do my own fucking thing," and then, well, we'll see if he comes back.
Bones and happy endings is
whether he comes back or not. It's a fucking
happen.
mess.
Okay, great. And if fans want to send you,
he's got a caller.
To get signed, is it still at PO Box 752740, Las Vegas, Nevada 89136?
That is the PO Box still, correct? Yes.
You got his PO Box, folks.
Okay, cool. Good stuff. Thanks a lot, sir.
You're welcome, buddy. It was good to hear from you again, and hope everything's well.
I will catch you later.
He's not Perry Carvello. I don't know what you'd send to him. You can't send him pick.
He's a very nice guy. I've met him multiple times, and
I'm like the inverse Perry Carvello.
4 years ago. Very good guy. Let's see what we got going on.
And that's
here.
Not innuendo.
We got, is it Giles? Oh, that's a hell of a name.
Giles. I worked with the director of photography named Giles. I remember winning him over by completing his old joke. Fuck, I can't remember it. It was an old, truly tasteless joke books joke that he said the punchline to, and then I gave the setup, and that would be a good story if I remembered what joke
Giles,
it was.
Is that you?
That's me.
How are you? Oh, your voice sounds how the name. Oh man, how this is making my day. You sound like a Giles.
Thanks a lot.
What's going on?
Yeah, all good. I'm just
Giles
sitting out in the garden after work, enjoying the sunshine.
A garden is nice.
Sun this time of year over in Northern Ireland.
Secret garden?
Very nice. I don't know if you know this or not. According to my ancestry report, I'm about 10% Irish.
Oh, nice one.
Good deal. So,
nice one.
What's going on? You have a question today?
I don't know. I think I'd hang up on this caller if I was here. This guy is sounding long-winded.
Best move purely because of the potential he had as a face. But I mean, what curious thing on you? Whenever
we're just going to keep going until Giles is away.
That the previous question, the guy about the championship before I left, and I didn't resign the contract. But so Vince, they had a meeting with me while everything, I was red hot with everything, and everything was going well. Merch, we were pushing
red hot.
Major merch,
that was about a year.
Checks coming in.
Things he never got as over as he was after that first year when he destroyed everyone, because that's an easy way to get someone popular, is just have them go out there and beat someone in a couple minutes. Are you listening, Tony Khan? Every giant you've had, you've just made a guy. Just have him go out there, do his move.
Even while red hot, but they were
the only person that got the Goldberg formula was Jade Cargill. So at least there's that. Is Dutch Mantel booking that division too, like he did with Gail Kim and Awesome Kong?
With everything, and so
it's actually really good when you go back.
At
the time, I knew it too. Then Vince Russo got his grubby little fucking hands on the women's division. Bro, I know what you're doing is great here with the throwback to the sports type thing, but get this. What if there's a mystery box? What if there are 4 mystery boxes and the women's title is in one of them? Bro, fucking genius. That was the main event segment, was opening the mystery box to win the women's title. Bro.
In the production meeting after it was over, and I believe it was Vince, Hunter, and Stephanie sitting.
I really want to interview Vince Russo on television production. Being someone who was a fly on the wall on television production for 6 years, I know more about television production than him, who was deeply involved for 20. I mean, bro, I was told I have creative freedom. I can do whatever I want. And now you're telling me that I can't? You're telling me that standards and practices are telling me I can't call a fat woman fat? I mean, I don't see how that's necessary for the title match. Sure, punching down is always fun. Al Bundy was, it might have just went off the air. You could have filled in on the missing fat lady jokes on television. But standards and practices is your boss's boss, which means it's your boss, bro. Fucking idiot. Tedious, I tell you.
And they sat me down and they explained to me that they wanted to turn me heel in a major storyline at some point around the WrestleMania, after WrestleMania, with everything. And Vince and this, I can only tell you what was kind of explained to me.
Yeah, you were ready for a bad guy.
It was so that I could become a more complete worker and learn on the
bad
heel
guy
side.
When he was a Heyman guy,
and become more valuable to them over time.
Was he one of the Heyman guys?
Essentially, because
rather than
where the baby face.
I think Axel was a Heyman guy, making Ryback the Heyman men.
And again, there were a lot of things going on. We've talked about the legal things, but it was they sold it very well to me.
Well, I might have skipped over that because Giles was boring the shit out of me
of everyone and making more money and becoming an even bigger baby face in the future, right? And with that, and so told that. We get to WrestleMania and then in the match with Mark Henry and
okay, if I remember this correctly, Mark Henry beat Ryback, and then like the very next night, Ryback beat Mark Henry, which is a formula that doesn't make sense. They've done it a few times, like with Fandango beating Jericho at Mania, and then the next month, getting his win right back. Yeah, we've touched on that. CM Punk, the very dangerous Ryback, as he's put it, and that's what everyone knows about him now. I mentioned that with Booker T. That's why Booker T doesn't want to touch it.
Got changed from what it was told, would have led to believe that I was going over to then falling on my face and botching my finish with Mark.
Stupid.
I had went and I talked. I had a meeting with Vince that day of WrestleMania. I tried to get a hold of him all week at Mania during the few
Ryback
days
says that conversation didn't happen, but Punk says, "Are you?"
They finally got him. We finally had a nice conversation at WrestleMania the day of.
I'm stupid.
He explained to me.
CM Punk is known to
the big
everyone in wrestling is known to exaggerate.
The ultimate baby face, and
so
I fell on
that
my
exact
face
thing probably
stage,
didn't
and that
happen.
the payoff was gonna be that was
Hogan is the worst. Hogan has had such a life, and he lies all the time. It's amazing. I was in line to be the bassist for Metallica. I was the first choice for the wrestler. Both of them, nonsense. Especially the wrestler thing. It was always Mickey Rourke that he wanted, and the studio forced Nicolas Cage on him. I think they might have filmed a week with Nicolas Cage, but yeah, they knocked the budget down, and he's like, that's all right. I want Rourke, and what a performance that
they had me
the shooting style of following behind
Superman,
him, kind of like the
following night, they had
backstage at wrestling camera angles look like.
Literally, it was page after page, like it was
page here
thing. And Vince said that was going to be
whoever did her makeup on that promo. Page here did her dirty.
They took
and now she's Saraya.
Came to me, he goes, no more merch, no explanation.
I haven't heard good things. I haven't watched AEW wrestling regularly since they became nonsensical within a few months. And I dropped into a few episodes when I briefly had cable TV, and it's like, well, it's on, let's check it out, and turned it off pretty quickly. The reports Jim Cornette sends is that Saraya is surprisingly bad for as much experience as she has. I could listen to Cornette read the phone book, so I will get my wrestling news from him. As I mentioned last time, I had a series called the Wrestling Writing Room, where I would watch the Raw, watch an episode of Monday Night Raw, and then right from there, what are the writers talking about to advance the storyline? And it was after Raw went to 3 hours, and never again. That show is so awful at 3 hours.
But that ties into, and I talked about it earlier.
So that's how I became a non-fan, a jaded fan, but still like wrestling horse shit. Like
what a lot of people don't understand is
I still watch independent shows, midget wrestling anytime. Ooh, Micro Wrestling League comes around your neighborhood. Highly recommend.
None of us knew though at the time.
Maybe you'll help break down the ring like we did.
WrestleMania. So what they needed was Cena was supposed to fight Punk and put Punk over.
That was fascinating. Really finding out how rings are constructed. You know, it was made for micro wrestlers, so it was a tiny version, but the big steel beams at the bottom that helped construct the ring. That was a fascinating learning experience. After watching, El Torito was there. El Torito was by far the most amazing wrestler. Did he go by Torito? Oh, I have the mask. Thank you, Josh, for buying me the mask. What were you talking about, Ryback?
Which then that was leading to Rock Cena at WrestleMania. The problem was I was red hot, got put in a supporting role, and that kind of started the beginning of the end of the momentum.
I don't see how this is going to work with the headphones.
Opportunities to pull the trigger. It was
La-da-dee-la-da-da.
what happened. But
well, not very well at all.
A lot of people have different opinions. I can only tell you that I lived it and I know what I'm talking about on it. It all ties into the legal issues with it, and it was a way to get back at me.
You and me, mask versus Twitchy match.
They essentially had lied to me, and I talked about it. They told me if I dropped the malpractice suit that we had, it was a $5 million malpractice suit. That was an open and shut case when they put me in the main event. They threatened my job and said I'd be fired if I didn't drop it for the betterment of the company, and that if I did that for them, it would be water under the bridge, and they would take care of me financially and creatively on that and allow me to make more money. And so I did that for them.
Oh, I matched.
Me in the back once the statute of limitations ran up. And a lot of people do not want to accept that as the truth. I swear to God, that is 1,000% the truth of what happened. Now, that's not to say that
what were you saying again, Ryback?
It's not all about me.
Something about the lawsuit.
I've never had a problem putting other people over. I've done it my whole career. I've had my moments, and I've put other people over and helped other people. You know,
you're boring me before Dark Side Phil does. We haven't gotten anywhere near as far as we do in Phil episodes. I don't know how long I've got less.
Rare opportunities to pull the trigger.
You need someone with not the guy Road Dogg got. Whoever Road Dogg chose with that radio voice. What a bad choice.
I was a big follower. I actually remember
that was a very fake radio voice he had on the Road Dogg radio experience. Here I am, right from public radio, and I am here. Yeah, I don't even have anything to say in the radio voice, but douchey fake voice.
I didn't actually notice at the time, obviously, your history with the Nexus.
Oh, you didn't know.
Been following it as close back then, but I was like,
that was the name of it. Oh, you didn't know.
This guy's a real deal.
Thank you.
I actually saw you live in Belfast on one occasion.
Yeah.
You were main eventing against Punk, and I must admit I was a big Punk mark at the time.
Nothing wrong with that.
Hearing your music and
B Dabbler's callers have a lot more charisma to them than Ryback's callers.
That nothing really, came to fruition in that sense when it comes to the world title. But I must say you've been dealing with a lot of problems on the legal side of it, as you've spoken about. But you're very eloquent and dignified in the way you're doing it.
Thank you.
So it's definitely something to be proud of in that sense. A lot of people could be
keep doing that
and do all kinds of crazy
I must have moved it more in my path than away from my path.
Just keep fighting the good fight, man.
Thank you. I tell people the truth always wins, and there's been a lot of things put out there that aren't
always
true, and a lot of hate created. And I'm not perfect by any means, but I do believe the truth.
You do have a great tushy.
I try to make myself available to you guys, and I do think this being able to talk to you guys like this and for everybody to hear is going to be very valuable.
And TikTok pissed you off.
And I think this.
I think he said it was because of bad language. Can you not use bad language on TikTok Live? I feel like I've heard that a lot.
Or don't understand something. I think it's really easy to have a 5 or 10 minute conversation on here.
I'm still getting the echo. I didn't put the 8x10s up. I've got to do an 8x10 border around the top, and maybe that'll help. I've got a bunch of 8x10s.
I appreciate you and all the support, and it's not over, my man.
Brought them with me from Hollywood because they fit into my coop.
Is happening whether people want.
Unlike Dark Side Phil's statues, he had all those bulky, heavy statues that he made those movers move all the way across the country. I've got to look into that. I love Dark Side Phil Mondays. That's why I made him a regular. Be more funny, Ryback. I'm talking about Phil again.
Ryback rules.
Thank you, buddy. Good to talk to you, Giles, and stay safe.
You too, mate.
Oh, that was still Giles.
Bye-bye.
He went on for a while. No, I thought he had 2 boring callers in a row. No, just one long boring caller.
Giles. Man, what a cool name, Giles. If I wasn't
pretty regular in the UK.
I just picture Giles as a real ladies' man. Giles is.
He was pretty dashing
over there,
from what I remember.
Him in the pubs. He
was a dick. That's why it was so awesome to win him over.
When Giles walks into a bar, the guys hold on to their women a little tighter with that.
He's got a lot of headroom.
Going to another bar.
If I'm going to be more like Ryback, I've got to get a lot of headroom. I've got to take my headphones.
Giles,
put them here.
Giles.
There, now we're a pair, Ryback.
Giles is such the perfect wrestling name.
Take your camera down.
With that voice, I
guess there's a reason that you wear Do
just
you
full of
hear
himself. I
through
pictured
your
Giles,
cheeks?
even though this Giles was not just an egotistical, full of himself, wearing like
I
Miami
hate that
Vice
view.
type
I can't keep
outfits.
that even for the joke.
That would be my first pitch in creative. Giles. Just raise
Is
my
your
hand.
camera
Giles.
welded where it is?
You know who would have been a good Giles?
You
Adam
can't
Rose
take it
could have played
down a
Giles.
notch.
I would have made Adam Rose Giles.
There.
PJ
No,
Black,
you're
Justin
too high and
Gabriel
I'm
could have
too
played a
low.
Giles.
We'll get a
We need
third
a
person
Giles
to
in
be
pro
the baby
wrestling.
bear and be just right.
I'm all for Giles, man. This is all right. Let's go to the next. Let's bring the next guest on here, guys.
Here we go. Caller, you're on the air.
People, man, it's always nice to talk with good people. I do have no doubt, though, we're going to definitely get some real shitheads at some point, but it'll make for an entertaining segment. Let's see, who do we got here? Tornadoes. Oh, Tornado. We can get anything with this.
Whoa.
Hello, Tornado. You there?
Tornado, you died. You lost your leg and you
doing,
died. He lost his foot and he died.
I'm well, man. Welcome to the Ryback show. Where are you at? City-wise.
I'm in Kansas.
Oh, hey, you're near Rusty. Maybe you could put him on the phone and he could talk about, back in the day when it was you and Zack Ryder and John Cena and CM Punk and The Big Show and Mark Henry. And then keep on going until you hang up on him.
Close to the city. I'm like an hour and a half from Wichita.
Good deal. I've wrestled there many times.
Yeah. I think. Yeah. I don't think I went to any shows because I came out here late 2014.
Okay, he's not taking these calls through the software. He can't be. This sounds like garbage. That's another thing B Dabbler does. He runs the phone calls. I don't know how it's done. I'm sure it's simple, but he runs the phone calls through the computer, through the software, and it sounds of the quality of radio. He must just have his phone on speaker. What is this quality?
Sweet. You have a question?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I heard you talking earlier about being cleared eventually and stuff like that, health-wise.
Really difficult to hear. I got it all the way up.
Like, say if Tony Khan gave you the call or contact and he was to join AEW.
Look at us. We're a pair, Ryback. I can help bring you viewers, Ryback. We can do it.
There's a couple people off the top of my head that I'm very interested in, and I've spoken with one of them and know one through a mutual friend, Justin Roberts. The two people, Wardlow and Ricky Starks.
Justin Roberts. God, do I hate that announcing. I don't like radio voices. I don't like Justin Roberts' announcing voice that he's made to be the regular. Like that's what the female announcers do now. I think both WWE and AEW. John. It sounds like a bubbling up sound when you're calling out for John. John Moxley. What am I doing there? I'm doing a gremlin. That's something in particular. Kind of sounds like my precious coming to the ring. Ring. The one ring is mine.
That I would be highly interested in having programs with at the right time and place. With that being Starks with the past history that I think that is a really cool story of him being a local, getting bullied by Bully Ryback, and now Bully Ryback being on the outskirts of wrestling, and Bully Ryback having some bad luck.
Bully Ray has
yada,
a podcast.
Yada, and Ricky Starks, having some success here.
Ricky Starks
being
and his
a big
broken neck.
Superstar. So I think that storyline kind of writes itself with some of the stuff creatively we can do. Wardlow's
really
a guy
quick from that broken neck.
That I really
must be like Cena and his super healing powers
with what they were doing with him, and he was red hot there for a bit, and then things kind of maybe backed off, cooled off a little, and then it started picking back up. And I really like him and Arn together, even though I like his development, and I've heard good things about him. And we
Justin Roberts' impression is now a Smeagol impression.
And like that kind of stuff. When you have good people like that in wrestling, and he's obviously similar styles.
Let's have a Falls Count Anywhere match, and the precious will be mine, all mine while you're out of the ring.
with things, and he can even do some extra things. And creatively, the sky's the limit with that kind of thing. And like somebody like that piques my interest with that in the story that can be told. You know, because I look at things, and
you can see Ryback's biggest fan. Do you see that? We can see his biggest fan there. One of the blades.
Two guys like that are off the top of my head, but they have a whole roster of guys that there's endless programs with. You know, me and Mox have history from the Shield. There's a storyline in itself costing me the championship. There's multiple routes.
The Brian Last Moxley voice.
So you know the goal is get cleared.
Try that,
and then hopefully and everything is put in place and have a conversation, and then we could see what the options are going to be. So and then that's all that I can do. I'm not giving too much thought to it now. My goal is run the business, take care of my family, and do my show every day, most days of the week with all the content and everything. And do the rehab and get myself ready and put myself in a position to be able to succeed once again. So,
well,
I think his best bet is trying to get on that Goldberg retirement tour, wherever the fuck he goes.
Say about Wardlow, yeah, he's a big guy, and you're a big guy. That would be a heck of a clash.
You're fucking you take phone calls every episode, and this is what you do. Certainly, you can go to somebody technical and figure this out. Ooh, I love that face. Let me just Command-Shift-3 that. Get him on the full screen. Oh, I can't get rid of that at the bottom while it's paused, is it? Command-Shift-3. And we're back. That's like a stuttering John face. Do you make stupid faces like that a lot? I'm going to start a drop the needle game on Ryback.
Wardlow, and because there's history, from last year, and have Wardlow be the guy.
I want to smash you over that. I could probably figure out this phone system if I put my mind to it.
Absolutely, and I think that's there's all different roles in wrestling, and like I told you guys, it's physical acting, and it blurs the lines on a little bit different things. But I do believe, and this is something I've talked about in the past. It's
I'm doing white lines there.
I do believe wrestling benefits when you cast the right wrestlers in the correct roles. And it greatly enhances the product.
Wardlow has been looking like a bitch.
People clearly have been behind him. It's not easy to get people behind you, especially in this day and age.
Tough man.
And they've been behind him multiple times.
Bitch now
with that. But what oftentimes what we see in wrestling, and this is, I'm going to give you an example.
Like
in UFC, Conor McGregor is the biggest star in fighting. Would you agree? As far as from a draw standpoint,
with what was his name again? Wardlow. That's the guy. He was. For the one of you in my audience that doesn't know, Wardlow was coming up like a very Goldberg-esque big guy, very kick-ass guy. He just broke loose from the heel that he was the lackey for. The fans were ready to get behind him. And then he has a month-long feud with nameless, faceless security guards. Then he becomes a tag team partner of Samoa Joe for no reason. And Joe made him look like a bitch. And was it someone after Joe that made him look like a bitch, or has it mainly been Samoa Joe? Which Samoa Joe's coming up at Sweet Tooth, the Twisted Metal. That's probably going to be god awful, the Twisted Metal TV show. But Samoa Joe is there. Oh, what was that? Rock and roll burgers, heavy metal burgers that had a Samoa Joe burger. I was like, oh, that's cool. It makes sense. They have a Foley burger, but that's neat. They have a more obscure reference. We'd have to look that up. It was definitely burgers. What the Samoa Joe burger was at. What was that place called? The heavy metal burger place. It started as a truck, and then they got a physical location as well.
Yeah. But I mean, he's one of the most popular fighters of all time. I'm not saying he's the best or the greatest, but saying he's the most popular. But they don't have Conor McGregor fighting.
Ryback burger broke your teeth.
With that. So I really believe pro wrestling could benefit from protecting guys that are larger than life, that are also very good
enough to eat other teeth,
to handle themselves. And I'm all for telling stories. And I love Rey Mysterio, and I love when the random David versus Goliath.
I don't like this call-in format for him.
It's like I really
think you
believe
should
that we
change your
need to do a
format
better job
to
overall
get a
of
host,
casting the right
especially
guys
until
in
you
the
figure
right
out this
role,
phone system.
and that's
I do.
and then letting the
This
guys who could still
speaker
be the
bullshit
most
is
popular guy in wrestling, but
bullshit.
not have the heavyweight
Big
championship. And
guy.
I'm not talking about anybody particularly, but I just think we have to do a better job overall of
Oh
casting the
wow!
guys that
I mean,
truly
another few
the
minutes.
heavyweights
You won me
and
back
stuff
after you got
for
Giles
the
off.
heavyweight
I thought I was
championship.
ready
I
to
think
tap
we need
out
to
with
do a better
Giles,
job at protecting
but I
that.
found something to
with
ramble
that.
about in your.
It's like a movie,
rambling.
like I give you the example,
You
Terminator.
ramble, I ramble.
Arnold the Terminator.
Me and
Now, can you
Ryback.
imagine if they took, and this is an extreme example, but say that they're going to do a new
Host and
Terminator movie in
co-host.
2024, and they decide to let a little person play the role of the Terminator, who's 3.5 feet tall. Now, people are still going to probably go watch that movie, right? But not at the level that they once did. And that is what I think has happened to pro wrestling.
3 foot tall Terminator would be more like a
example,
Gremlins or
a
a
miscast people
Critters
in the roles
type.
that maybe they were
And
not
hopefully they
designed
would
to play.
cast a
The
little
audience
person
goes down.
rather than a child, like fucking Howard the Duck. What when you look at the production hell, just the reason I do not understand why Howard the Duck cast a experienced little person stuntman for some scenes and a child for another, because you can tell a child's movements. It looks like a child. A child just moves like a child, and an adult moves like an adult. It's just how it is. And you knew then, and you cast him twice.
Down, and that's where I think the loss of casual viewers. And I do believe, and not just AEW, this is WWE, everyone. I think the business would benefit greatly from protecting those roles a little better and still letting guys get popular. It's like Conor McGregor is the most popular guy in the UFC. He's not fighting for the heavyweight
nearly
championship.
2,000 views out of a 500,000
and
subscribers.
I do believe that those principles need to apply.
Better
not all the time,
numbers than
but
DSP,
more often than not in pro wrestling.
I feel like
it will
format
benefit
change
everything,
is
and
in
I
order.
believe it will overall
Drop
start
the
to get
phone
the ratings
calls
up
until you
over
figure
time.
out the system and co-host someone to babble about you with.
But yeah, that's
give you
my thoughts, man, on it,
jabs
and we'll see what
and
happens with
save
everything.
me from being a troll, Ryback. You've got the same problem that Casey Armstrong has. The way that you handle trolls only makes them stronger and more.
You coming on, and hopefully you listen in the future.
Yeah, and I know that you and WWE are bad terms or whatever, but I mean, I still watch it or whatever. And I'm going to, they're in Wichita on Monday. I'm going to, they only come out here once a year.
Yeah.
So I really wish AEW
like that. It's the Wanda Sykes commercial, can we?
Hopefully, Tony Khan's listening on Twitter Spaces. Tony, can we get AEW Dynamite or Collision in Wichita?
Like I wasn't even trying.
Wichita, Kansas. Listening on Twitter Spaces. Tony, can we get AEW Dynamite or Collision in Wichita, Kansas, please?
Yeah, that whole section, that one's kind of blurry. Why did you do that? I wanted to take it down to 75%. They're all blurry. Is this me or is this you, Ryback? 720p. It says that doesn't look 720p. Do I look like that? At least on my monitor, I look much more clear.
Thanks again.
You're welcome, buddy. Good to talk to you, and you be safe out there.
Because they were those tornadoes. Because he was moving as well. That doesn't help.
Yeah, you too.
But it doesn't look 720p.
All right, buddy.
Does
Take
it?
care.
Am I wrong?
All right, thanks.
Like here's
all right,
here's
tornado.
Tim, and here's
great
me.
People here on the Ryback
better
show
quality
so far.
And like maybe it's going
all
out
right,
at a different
see
quality.
We got Lawrence,
but mine says 720. It's going out
Lawrence
at 720p
on the Ryback show for
claiming that this is 720p.
Trying to look, see who we all have.
Ryback's drunk, folks.
Different people.
Ryback, go home. You're drunk.
Lawrence, Lawrence is.
Don't talk to Lawrence when you're in this shape, Ryback.
We will add. Let's see. We got Captain. The Captain. Let's see if the Captain wants to come on the Ryback show.
Chad Zumach? No, we're not supposed to. That is the name we are not.
Captain, my Captain, you're there.
Speak. Just don't look, folks.
Oh, man, how you
Just don't
doing?
look.
I'm doing
Go
well. How's
away.
your day so far?
He'll commit a crime
Oh,
because
man,
that's what he
it's
does. And he'll go to jail for a long
I'm
time.
reading one of my comments on
us
YouTube.
to
I
find a
got to
new
read it. One of the
locale.
comments on YouTube was, "I bet Giles has a hammer."
But he's like criminal Chris Chan, isn't he? As soon as you're about to cover the stupid thing he's done 3 more stupid things.
Giles was a real ladies man that we had on previously to you. So, what do you got going on? What's the question? What do you got going on today?
Just
Oh,
don't
man,
look.
this is
Just don't
simple,
look.
man. Like if you could pick anybody from the past or present or whatever to feud with, I notice
Someone from the
wrestling's starting to
future,
get back to the
theoretical
long-term
wrestlers.
storytelling.
What about
Like,
negative
back in
one?
the old days, I've been
Would
watching
you want to
wrestling
feud with
since
negative one?
1983, 1984.
Yeah,
And I mean, Hulk Hogan, of course, everybody
Dominic
watched Hulk
Mysterio
back then.
Jr. Do you think you could
But,
feud with him?
long-term storytelling, who would
What
you
a
feud with?
turnaround! What a
Past or
turnaround
present?
from just blah nothingness. Dominic Mysterio is to like the hottest bad guy in
If you
the
could
land.
choose anybody to have a long-term,
There's MJF,
feud.
Dominic.
well, I think the
Mysterio,
one
and no
I
one
mentioned
else
it
on
the
that
other
level.
last week is I want Goldberg's retirement match. I think it's a story
Okay,
that
you do
writes
want
itself.
that. You're well aware of the money
He
you can
said
make
he
with
wants
that.
a retirement
Goldberg is
match.
holding you back.
Nobody has stepped up
Goldberg wants to walk
taken
after the end of
that
his
huge
retirement
opportunity.
matches.
I think I have a chip on
He's
my
not
shoulder.
into it.
I've never ever tried to be Goldberg, and I understand some similarities with the intensity, and we both have bald
you're
heads and
you're
big
booked
traps
like Goldberg. You got a
physiques
bald
in
head and you
various
got a
ways and
beard. Like
whatnot.
fucking forget
But I
about
think
it.
we're two entirely different people and
There
wrestlers.
was no
I
way
think
around
that
it.
is something for
You have
me.
such a
I would
similar
love
look,
that
and we're booked
opportunity to go
similarly.
in and show the world that I am not Goldberg. I am Ryback, and to have
And your
that
big move
last
was
match
lifting the
with
guy up.
that. And so
Which
that's just
made
something off the
sense.
top of my head that I think
Your
timing
move was
wise
different
that could be
enough.
something that would be possible
Got him in a
with
torture
it.
rack
And I
position
think
before throwing him down.
he's
rather
more
than
than capable of going
position
out with
and throwing
a
him down.
fantastic match.
Both
for his
very
last one
impressive.
with that, and then
Right.
that was something that would pique my
I've
interest.
seen Brian Cage do an
I always
holding
wanted the match with Brock.
of like for a
I
minute
always thought
straight
that
too.
a guy like Brock, Kurt Angle
Brian
is
Cage
another
is
guy that
goof.
I wish I could have gotten the ring with, both healthy and
Even
in
Tony
prime
Khan
and ready to
thinks
go.
Brian Cage
I
is a
think he
goof.
would have helped elevate my
Khan.
intensity, and I love guys that
Even
bring it in the ring.
Tony Khan isn't
And I
fooled
think that
by
that
Brian
are
Cage
cardio machines.
after
I
just a
love
little
doing
bit.
cardio and pushing myself. And a guy I got to train with Chris Benoit in Deep South Wrestling. And unfortunately, and that I'm not afraid to say that. I wish to God I could have
trained to
wrestled
kill
Chris
children
Benoit
and
more
women.
than I've been in the ring with him. I've taken 50 arm drags from him in a row, and it was unlike anything I'd ever experienced my first year in
That
wrestling.
actually is.
I've done Hindu
an
squats with him.
accomplishment
I've
to say
seen.
Benoit.
I
trained you.
learned about intensity from Chris
Jokes
Benoit
aside.
firsthand, and it was I realized and he was
wouldn't use
jacked
two
and he
hands?
wasn't the biggest guy in
How
the world.
unfortunate.
And I go, and that's why Vince McMahon was always big on intensity and believability. And you don't have to be the biggest guy in the world. And I really believe that helped contribute to my career in a positive way. So, I would have loved to have had an opportunity to step in the ring with a guy like that. And Eddie Guerrero, Edge is another one, back.
Okay, now you're just being
the list goes on and on
off
because
names. Like Christian and Randy Orton and Brock Lesnar and Shelton.
So the guys that have had come before me, I have nothing but respect for
Charlie
with that, and
Haas
I do believe that they pass
dead
on a little bit of what they
brother
learned from previous generations, and I believe that's how the business kind of stays alive in that respect, and the skills and the different things. You kind of pick up a little something from every guy you work with that. So those are some of the guys off the top of my head.
Syphilis.
Right. Yeah, man. I mean, you said Chris Benoit. I was like, wow, man, that would be great because my favorite feuds.
I'm out after this caller, or maybe before the end of this caller.
I told you the other day I saw it live. I actually got to see it live. Is when you wrestled Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, I guess the smaller, quicker.
He had a time where he could have been super over Ziggler, and then they took the title right off him when they got him to just solidify. Nah, folks, he's a loser. This title, he's just gonna have it and lose it. He's going to Loserville, and too good at your job. You can be too good at your job, like Dolph Ziggler, to get stuck as in a shitty position.
Muscle guy, I always.
When Ziggler went against Goldberg, he talks about how he fought. I think they wanted him to have a good match, and they gave him 30 seconds. And Ziggler's like, "Give us a fucking minute and a half, and I'll have a good match." I cannot do it in 30 seconds. Please, a fucking minute and a half.
You know, because the little guys, you could just throw them around.
Yeah, no, it's always that's the easiest. That match is the big guy versus little guy. The styles go very well with that.
Coming out,
it's a very easy story to tell when it's done right. And I always love wrestling Dolph. He actually just texted me last night, and I messaged him back this morning, and we routinely go back.
Listen to the static coming in through the phone. And he can't put it on mute because it's just sitting there on speaker. He can't hit the mute button very easily, like I can. Bring it right back.
Fourth, he's one of my favorite people. So,
right. Well, man, if you ever wrestle Goldberg, man, I'm going for you. I'm not a big Goldberg fan. I think you can take
really.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate that.
He must be younger than me.
All right,
he must be in his 20s. There's no one in their 30s that thinks you're better than Goldberg.
Captain. Are you there?
You bamboozled the 20-year-olds. It sounds like.
We're gonna have to remove Captain. It looked like
the
guy that I invited on previews. I think that's what the noise was coming from. With that, I'm not 100% sure, but
I'm sure that was nice, Ryback. You might make it into the rotation again. I wasn't sure who I was going to do today after I changed formats a bit, and well, not changing formats. I was going to try a new format, and I'm still toying with that. It might debut next week. I don't want to be too late in case more stupid shit happens and this becomes outdated. But let's get some news from TikTok. We have a news report coming in.
A 14-year-old boy is grounded for like forever thanks to this stunt. He took his mom's new BMW out for a joyride without permission, and when she found out about it, she chased him down and let him have it.
I just found it. This mom is giving chase, and the car she's pursuing,
pull over now!
It's being driven by her own
son. I want that drop. I've got to put that on my list of drops. Pull over now! She is possessed. She is pissed.
14-year-old Aaron Martinez is being called a modern-day Ferris Bueller after he hatched a plot to sneak out of his home in El Paso, Texas. How'd he do it? He turned off the Wi-Fi.
Look, if you like pizza.
Point, it blocks out my cameras, my home security.
Oh, I should have pulled that one.
I don't see when the doors are.
You have no reference to what I'm talking
Lisa
about,
Martinez
audience.
Was at work, unaware that her son was heading out on a joyride until she was tipped off by another mom.
I immediately called my daughter and I told her go outside and see if my car is there. And she said it's not there.
Lisa sped home and picked up her daughter, who recorded the whole drama and posted it on social media.
It just kept going and it was getting funnier.
They tracked down Aaron with...
that is a perfect sibling reaction. He's gonna fucking get it. He's gonna fucking get it. And crafty little bastard. Wi-Fi off. You can do anything in that nice secure house. It's no longer secure. You crafty little bastard.
Aaron with his buddy in the passenger seat.
Pull over now!
He came to a halt pretty quickly.
Give me the bell.
Tracked down Aaron with his buddy in the passenger seat.
Pull over now!
He came to a halt pretty quickly.
Give me the bell.
At which point, Mom popped out to teach him a lesson he'll never forget. She proceeded to discipline him right there on the side of the road.
It's my son's well-being, his livelihood, his best friend's well-being, not to mention all the people on the roadways.
Aaron says he...
just imagine those overprotective mothers. Oh, honey, I see that the car isn't there. I hope that you're being safe. Bring it back as soon as possible. You know you're not supposed to be driving, sweetie honey pie. Or even the ones that they can do no wrong. The car isn't there and you're not there. Has someone broken into the house? Oh, and that would give him the idea. He probably would go with the I'm kidnapped. It's okay. I'm getting loose type theory. The big defense without fully thinking it through.
He realizes he made a big mistake.
I deserved it. It was a bad choice. And I just can't do it again.
Pull over now!
Now! Great job, Mom. Let's see which one next. Oh, we're going to do 3 today. Our next one. We've got a little dance lesson from where is the username on this one? Re.sept. She does a lot of dance reenactments, and I pulled this one.
I'll crump with you, sweetie pie.
Those aren't two people, by the way. She has a green screen, and she'll film herself multiple times. She has a lot of good ones. And once again, I'm not quite clear on the YouTube strike system and everything with copyrighted music. I just absolutely avoid it since this is a new channel, a growing channel. Well, it's an old channel, but it's been old for watching videos. It's a new channel for creating videos. And to take us out, my favorite, my future fiance, if she can get rid of the intrusive thoughts and not murder me in my sleep, my future wife, Cotton Socks, is working on herself. She is trying to get better. She is well aware that she's got mental illness, and some days she works on it harder than others.
I'm walking myself again. I'm trying to rediscover my childlike wonder at the world, but it just smells like arse. These are my dead friends. There's just free rocks everywhere, and you can just take them. Yeah. I like being outside. I do. It's so full of everything, you know? Everything. I'm in the graveyard again, and here's some posh
That's her
people.
favorite place.
I'm being bitten
Every
by
video has a
fleas.
shot in the
It's nice
graveyard
to feel
when
something.
she's outside.
I need to film my good deeds, or they don't count. If I ever find myself worrying about death,
Just
I
like
just
old
remember
people,
that I
though.
didn't exist for an
Rich
eternity
people.
before I was born, and that was really cool. Something to look forward to.
I talked
Oh,
over
you're
that line.
so
I really
cute.
like that line. And
I
go,
bet you'd
go
be
back a little bit to the I
didn't
didn't exist for eternity.
If I ever find myself worrying about death, I just remember that I didn't exist for an eternity before I was born, and that was really cool. Something to look forward to. Oh, you're so cute. I bet you'd be delicious. Hello, sir. Excuse me, sir. This is very rude. I'm just trying to love you.
I'd probably do a similar thing
Okay,
to you.
goodbye. Watch out for the nosy pub crawlers.
No, I wouldn't.
These annoying fuckers. If I had an airplane, I would crash it. I love spending time with you, but I have to go because my skeleton is trying to vibrate itself out of my body. Anyway, bye.
Thank you, Cotton Socks. What is your current screen name? I know you just changed it. Oh, it is Alice Does Wonderland. The Alice Cotton Socks. Alice. Oh yes, I am following. There for a second, I was like, why aren't I following? Because I am following. Why wouldn't I be a stalker to my friend in mental unwellness? Well, that is all for today. I liked Ryback. He might be in the regular Tuesday rotation. We will have Dark Side Mondays regularly. This week, the effort episode. These co-host auditions are low effort. And if you need a co-host for your show, especially if you're gonna pay me for it, Gmail right there, Dillon from somewhere, is where you find me on whatever social media platform I'm on. I keep saying I'm going to do some TikTok videos to grow that and get to 1,000, but I just haven't. I've got the time. I've just been using it elsewhere because this is the summer of George. There is no work. There is no income coming in. I worked for a miserable job for 11 months, and let's just stare at the wall for a while. Nice wall. Thank you for joining. Nope, that's not my sign off. Thank you for... I'll remember my sign off soon enough. Thank you for coming. Now go away.